Christianity, it's been a custom for the ages. Founded on the Bible, a book filled with pages and pages of story with people like us that have been made courageous, from a man named Jesus Christ who is said to have paid our wages. Wages of death, and could be washed away with the decision to accept Him into our hearts and to call ourselves a Christian. But I believe if Jesus Himself were to look at most of us Christians, He would undoubtedly see that we aren't really living out His initial vision. In the world's eyes, the meaning of Christianity has switched from love to hypocrisy. And at first the thought of that seemed to be way too wrong for me, but honestly it's no longer surprised me because I can clearly see Christians praising their own name over the power of God's sovereignty. It's hard to argue for Christians when they're getting plastered at a party just to wake up the next morning to pretend like they're kind of sorry. When there's guys claiming they love God but depend on porn every night, and when there's girls who look to those same guys to get their opinions on their bodies for delight. And there's Christians like me who on the outside may look put together but whose insides are falling apart because their identity changes like the weather. There's more situations like these that fit the description of God drawing out a picture for our lives, but our actions not showing the depiction. But the real reason I feel like Christians seem to be having so much friction is that they've stopped chasing the relationship and look to fit the religion. We live in a world today where Jesus and religion have morphed to mean the same thing, but back in His time, you could have been murdered for making such a claim because He was seen by the holy leaders as a reckless and God-defying man. But what's ironic is those same righteous men called for nails to be driven into His hands. And get this, at the end of the day, they thought they were the ones who were following God's plans. I mean, come on. How heartless and naive does one have to be to claim righteousness and then crucify anyone, much less our one almighty King? But at the end of the day, I can kind of understand it because just like in modern times, religion masked God's light and stole their love like a bandit.
You taught me the courage of stars before you left. How light carries on endlessly, even after death, with sureness of breath, you explain the infinite.
Because religion turns us into some holy politicians, giving us this fake look like good works will keep us holy enough to live that Christian tradition. But if we mess up those good works, we've fallen out of the grace of God's glory, and you best believe He's sitting in heaven just waiting to judge you on your story. But if you look at Jesus' story, that's not the way things are. No, He literally has the scars to prove just how much He doesn't want us to be apart. Because He loves us despite our circumstances. I mean, He literally died to give us a chance to experience one of life's greatest romances, a relationship with the one true Father. Religion says look your best, while Jesus says come at your worst. Religion says earn the love, while Jesus says I earned it first. So when people attempt to fit the religion, their faith starts derailing off the track that Jesus laid for us to keep our faith prevailing.
But I can never find the end. I'd give anything to hear you say it one more time, that the universe was made.
But Jesus wants to pull the weight of our lives when we feel like we're trailing, allowing us to live a life completely unashamed of failing. So what if we truly believe Jesus does have what's best? What if we truly believe Jesus is the answer to our mess? I believe if we did, the word hypocrite need not be mentioned because the lives of God's people would reflect all of God's true intentions. When someone said that they love somebody, you could physically see that it's true. People would go from I'll pray for you to sit down, I'll pray with you. Guys would long for the presence of him instead of the presence of her. And girls would feel the power of God's grace instead of feeling forced to be a lover. And Christians like me could find rest because God has identified us with His beautiful name. So my question for you is, if you truly believed, what's stopping you from feeling the same?